Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am Mahi from class 12 science. The gynoecium represents the female reproductive part of the flower. The gynoecium may consist of a single pistil, monocarpellary, or may have more than one pistil, multicarpellary. When there are more than one, the pistil may be fused together, syncarpous, or may be free apocarpous. Each pistil has three parts: the stigma, style, and ovary. The stigma serves as a landing platform for pollen grains. The style is the elongated slender part beneath the stigma. The basal bulb part of the pistil is the ovary. Inside the ovary is the ovarian cavity locule. The placenta is located inside the ovarian cavity. Recall the definition and types of placentation. Arising from the placenta are the megasporangia, commonly called ovules. The number of ovules in an ovary may be one. Wheat, paddy, mango, to many. Papaya, watermelon, orchids. The megasporangium ovule. Let us familiarize ourselves with the structure of a typical angiosperm ovule. The ovule is a small structure attached to the placenta by means of a stall called funicle. The body of the ovule fuses with funicle in the region called hilum. Thus, hilum represents the junction between ovule and funicle. Each ovule has one or two protective envelopes called integuments. Integuments encircle the nucellus except at the tip, where a small opening called the micropyle is organized. Opposite the micropylar end is the chalaza, representing the basal part of the ovule. Enclosed within the integuments is a mass of cells called the nucellus. Cells of the nucellus have abundant reserve food materials. Located in the nucellus is the embryo sac or female gametophyte. An ovule generally has a single embryo sac formed from a megaspore. Megasporogenesis. The process of formation of megaspore from the megaspore mother cell is called megasporogenesis. Ovules generally differentiate a single megaspore mother cell MMC in the micropylar region. It is a large cell containing dense cytoplasm and a prominent nucleus. The MMC undergoes meiotic division. What is the importance of the MMC undergoing meiosis? Meiosis results in the production of 4 megaspores, female gametophyte. In a majority of flowering plants, one of the megaspores is functional, while the other 3 degenerate. Only the functional megaspore develops into the female gametophyte, embryo sac. This method of embryo sac formation from a single megaspore is termed monosporic development. What will be the ploidy of the cells of the nucellus? MMC, the functional megaspore, and the female gametophyte. Let us study about the formation of the embryo sac in detail. The nucleus of the functional megaspore divides mitotically to form 2 nuclei which move to the opposite poles, forming the 2 nucleate embryo sac. 2 more sequential mitotic nuclear division result in the formation of the nucleate, the 4 nucleate, and later the 8 nucleate. Stages of the embryo sac. It is of interest to note that these meiotic divisions are strictly free nuclear. That is, nuclear divisions are not followed immediately by cell wall formation. After the 8 nucleate stage, cell walls are laid down, leading to the organization of the typical female gametophyte or embryo sac. Observe the distribution of cells inside the embryo sac. 6 of the 8 nuclei are surrounded by a cell walls and organized into cells. The remaining 2 nuclei, called polar nuclei, are situated below the egg apparatus in the large central cell. There is a characteristic distribution of the cells within the embryo sac. 3 cells are grouped together at the micropylar end and constitutes the egg apparatus. The egg apparatus in turn consists of 2 synergids and 1 egg cell. The synergids have special cellular thickenings at the micropylar tip called filiform apparatus, which play an important role in guiding the pollen tubes into the synergid 3 cells at the chalager lid and are called the antipodals. The large central cell, as mentioned earlier, has 2 polar nuclei. Thus, a typical angiosperm embryo sac at maturity, though 8 nucleate is 7-celled. Pollination. In the preceding sections, you have learned that the male and female gametes in flowering plants are produced in the pollen grain and embryo sac respectively. As both types of gametes are non-motile, they have to be brought together for fertilization to occur. How is this achieved? Pollination is the mechanism to achieve this objective. Transfer of pollen grains shed from the anther to the stigma of the pistil is termed pollination. Flowering plants have evolved an amazing array of adaptations to achieve pollination. They make use of external agents to achieve pollination. Can you list the possible external agents? Kinds of pollination. Depending on the source of pollen, pollination can be divided into 3 types. Autogamy. In this type, pollination is achieved with the same flower. Transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same flower in a normal flower, which opens and exposes the anthers and the stigma. Complete autogamy is rather rare. Autogamy in such flower requires synchromy in pollen release and stigma receptivity, and also the anthers and the stigma should lie close to each other, so that self-pollination can occur. Some plants such as viola, common pansy, oxalis and commelina produce 2 types of flowers. Chesmogamous flowers, which are similar to flowers of other species, with exposed anthers and stigma, and clistogamous flowers, which do not open at all. In such flowers, the anther and stigma lie close to each other. When anther dehisce in the flower buds, pollen grains come in contact with the stigma to effect pollination. Thus, clistogamous flowers are invariably autogamous, as there is no chance of cross-pollen landing on the stigma. Clistogamous flowers produce a short seed set even in the absence of pollinators. Do you think that clistogamy is advantageous or disadvantageous to the plant? Why?